Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I made this fur head base out of foam. It is a bucket head, but my friend also wanted it kind of in the kimono style, so I tried to do a little mix of tuni and kimono. If that's something you're interested, watch this video. This is my friend's persona. She is a green deer, but my tutorial can be applied to a lot of other animals as well, because I feel like the face shape is quite similar, and she is a very like mammal looking, like cat-like, dog-like looking deer, if you know what I mean. Disclaimer, this is my first fursuit ever. I watched a whole lot of videos, did a lot of research leading up to this video, so hopefully it will be helpful to you. But if you guys are more experienced fursuiters than me, feel free to leave advice in the comments below, and that'd be really helpful to me and anyone else who watches this video. So the first thing I did was unbox my brand new upholstery foam. I got the 1-inch thick kind because it's the most comfortable and the most durable in my opinion. Then I traced out a big rectangle in my foam. I think it was 12 inches high and 36 inches wide. Make sure you're working on your fursuit in an area that has a lot of space and is away from pets, because our cats tried to eat a lot of the foam pieces that were like cut loose, the tiny ones, and they also shouldn't be breathing in any fur that you're working with, so just try to keep them away from the area you're crafting in. After I cut out my rectangle, I wrapped it around my head, and it was the perfect length to fit all the way around. For the most part, I think those measurements are universal, but I'd maybe do an extra 1/2 inch on the height. You can always take away if it's too big, but you can't add. Next, you can glue the seams together. I used hot glue. That's the best for upholstery foam. I don't think any other glue that I've used works quite as well. Then I measure a length of 4 inches down from one of the sides and draw a line with my Sharpie all the way around the foam. Then within that 4-inch band, I draw a bunch of triangles, which don't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter because you're not going to see them later anyway. Then you're gonna cut out all of the triangles that I put X's on, or the ones that are pointing downward. You're gonna cut them all out from the foam and just get rid of them. You don't need them anymore. The triangle part is going to be the top of your bucket head, and the cutouts allow the foam to curve around your head like a helmet. You can see that I'm really speeding through this part of the process, and that's because it literally doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to see this part, and you're just going to glue all of those edges together eventually anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, I forgot to say this before, but when you're gluing seams together on the bucket head, use little clips to hold them together, because the hot glue won't dry right away, and you're going to need something to hold it there so that it can set. Now you can see that I'm gluing all of the triangles together, and as I get farther and farther through this process, you can see the curve starting to take shape. I tried to glue 1/2 of the bucket head together with all of my clips and the other half, and then I glued the big seam in the middle together. The hot glue works pretty fast, so you can take your clips off after about 1 or 2 minutes when the glue is completely cool and dry, and use them on a different part of your bucket head, because you will need a lot of them and will probably have to reuse them a lot. Getting everything to stick together at the very end of this process might be a little difficult. I don't think I filmed it, but I ended up sewing the very last top part together just so I felt more secure. I don't know if that does anything, to be so real, but I just didn't feel totally comfortable with the hot glue. I didn't trust it, but looking back, I definitely could have. The hot glue does a really good job, but I'm a seamstress at heart, so I felt a little more secure just sewing it a little bit. If any of your seams start popping open as you're manipulating the rest of the head, it's okay, just add a little bit more glue and then put the clip back. It'll fix itself. Now that most of it is glued together, you can see the curve at the top, like a little helmet, like a little marshmallow bucket. It literally looks perfect. It's the perfect shape. But yeah, that's basically all you need to know on the basic construction of the bucket itself. After the glue dries, I'm gonna try it on just to see how it feels and if it's comfortable. It's okay if it's a little loose at this point, because you can add more foam to the inside of it once you have the eyes and the mouth cut out to make it fit more snugly to your head. Now I'm gonna try it on to see what I look like as a marshmallow, because I was really curious. I've also never worn a fur head before, so this is really cool and fun for me, and I was really excited during this part. Then I sketched out the general shape of what I was going to make the fur head look like. I did use my friend's Fursona reference sheet as a guide, but it doesn't always translate perfectly when you have to make it from the actual foam. Then roughly trace and cut out holes so that you can see your eyes and your mouth, and make sure you try it on periodically so you can see through it and make sure your mouth and your nose fit through it. Looking back at my process now, I see that I made the mouth hole too small, and once you have the fur and the lining on it and everything, it makes it kind of hard to breathe through. So when you're making yours, make sure you make the mouth hole bigger, and you should be able to see your nose all the way down almost to your chin through the hole on yours. So just keep that in mind. Now that you know the general area of your mouth and eye holes, I cut out the exact shape I wanted the eyes and the mouth hole to be from a piece of paper and made sure I traced around it and cut it to the exact shape. Now you're going to do the exact same thing for the snout. Cut out the profile shape of the snout on a piece of paper, then cut it out on a piece of foam. I cut out 4 of them and lined them all up. Then I glued them together and made one big, long, wide snout piece. And from there you can cut it to the right shape and then glue it onto the bucket head. The carving process of foam heads is probably what takes you the longest, so just turn on a show and be really patient and just carve a little bit away at a time until you get the nice rounded snout shape that you like. From there you can just glue it right onto the bucket head in between the eyes and above the mouth, and it should stick on pretty well. I don't even think I used clips to hold it on. I think it just stuck right on. Then I made a general cheek shape out of some paper and then cut it out in foam, and I glued that on before I carved it because I feel like for the cheeks that is a little bit easier. They look crazy, but you're going to do the exact same thing you did for the snout with the cheeks for all of the features of the face. I also did that for the antlers. I just cut out the antlers from the foam and then rounded them with my scissors. I didn't do a tutorial for how I did the eyes because there's a lot of tutorials on them out there, and I just followed the first one I found on TikTok. You can 3D print yours, but I made mine out of regular foam because I felt like that'd be too heavy. Here's the base basically done. As you can see, it's a little bit loose. When I shake my head, it kind of wobbles around, and you don't want that. So here's how you fix that. I just took 2 scraps of foam and placed them right between the eyes on the inside of the suit, and that should rest against your forehead or the bridge of your nose to keep it from wobbling around. You can see that after I did that, my eyes rest kind of more in the middle of the eye holes. At this point, I was pretty satisfied with my base. This is my first one, so I know there's probably a lot of things I could have done better, and it's obviously not perfect, but I think a lot of my mistakes were able to be covered up after furring the head, and I think it looks pretty good. This is the video I sent my friend when I was done with this part, and she was happy with it, so I'm happy with it. You worked a whole day straight, you should be able to get the bucket head done in like a day, maybe not even that, like an hour or 2 if you really sit there and just focus on it. I think the bucket head was a great choice for my first ever fursuit because it is very easy to learn how to do. I've also heard it is a lot lighter and more comfortable than 3D printed fursuits, which I do want to try eventually. This process is really tedious, so just put on a show you really want to binge and just take your time doing it. Otherwise it will get sloppy and you'll get impatient, and you shouldn't have negative feelings like you're making your fursuit. This is my first ever fursuit, so I'm making it for her for free, but in the future I would really like to start a fursuit business. That's been a dream of mine for so long. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful to you, and good luck on your fursuits. Bye! Say bye, oat milk.